Thank you for joining me. I would like to first start out with, it is December the 3rd, 2019, and we're talking about Walt Disney's stock here. Again, my name is CL. This is CL Wright, and we first want to make the announcement that this is definitely a practice for myself. This is definitely something we are not advertising, no form of fashion, no advice, professional advice in no form of fashion. Again, this is for my record keeping. Thank you. I'm glad we got that out of the way so we can get started. There's no professional. This is just anticipation and watching the market and seeing where I see ins and outs. Okay, on my own opinion. Okay, so we're here on I could go back and talk about a few things where I have two videos speaking on this subject. The first video, I'm gonna keep it short. First video was before the big move. So it's about like 2-3 weeks ago here, a month ago, whatever. And before the second big move, before they came out with Plus. Okay, so before they came out with, well, the announcement and the stats and so forth, not before, but, and they, so anyhow, I think the next day or so, we had a spike of $10. Okay, so that was definitely in the video. You can go back to the original video, see that on the charts where the move had not been taken, but the video was definitely documented and broken down to, is Walt Disney a buy? Second video was asked the question, are we getting over 150? Will Walt Disney get over 150 anytime soon? Now, over the bigger scheme of things, yes, we're getting over 150. Now, the thing is, when we don't look at things as in a straight line. Okay, so that's the vibe, feel I have right now, and we want to kind of keep our ears to the market in a few aspects, and let's go through those a few. Well, first, let's talk about what we see in the upcoming headlines, and then I will also dab with things like Netflix and Comcast, some of the cable companies, to use as comparisons and see what they're doing, other market sister companies, and see where they're at on the actual charts themselves. And that helps us to understand a little bit more about Walt Disney. But the question was asked, well, we're going to get over 150. And so I was making this here before we go into the headlines. I'm sorry. I was making a lot of this, and as you can see, this is a daily chart. And we were like a week ago or so, I think we were somewhere up in here, and we did get over the 150. So back on November the 22nd or 21st or so, or possibly even a little further back, I forgot the video time frame, but we popped over 150. And does that matter in the regards of, is it staying over the 150? It spiked and poked its head out over the 150, which is a good thing. Now, where is it going at this point? Now, currently we're at 147. Okay, so we haven't made it convincingly over the 150 mark. We haven't held. It hasn't been a hold. We popped our head over it, but it hasn't held in that portion where we can continue. So that is something to be mindful of. So again, let's go into a little bit more of the news, a little bit more headline news here in the charts themselves. And this is a weekly chart also I drew a couple on my, are we getting over 150? I don't like really moving things, and I may add some things on. And again, like I said, I don't like moving things, but if we go back into the daily, we go back into the 4 hour, and I'm gonna show you this here just so everybody have a better feel of what was drawn prior. I was making this analysis on the 4 hour here, and this, let's just say this would be ideal red, well, a break line. But anyhow, so we got over the 150, and we it's kind of like jumping over the river creek, and we skipped over the river, and we didn't truly earn our keep. Okay, so it happened in the past. We skipped, we jumped over, and we kept rising. We earned our keep though, and it actually happened in the past prior a couple times as well. Right here, it did not. It went back in back test. Here it did as well. So it was a few other times maybe that it skipped over the river. So I'm not fully familiar, but I would say actually I am, because it doesn't show me any data. So we're only looking at the data currently, and we're gonna get into the headlines. But an example of it skipping over, but it did not hold, and it didn't show it true. So the question was, yeah, it got over that 150, but did it hold? No. So we're here, and we bounced from the support line initially that I drew, but I wanted to show you over the week I was drawing this here, and I actually got stopped out because my mark was here. I was doing it on the I drew that after the fact, this one here. Hey, if I get a slow computer doing a recording. Yeah, there we go. Bam, still there. So I drew this other one after the fact, but this is my first one here. So we was here over the weekend or so, 27th, 27th, or yeah, somewhere up in there. November the, I guess that's the 19th. I don't know what that is. Yeah, 27th November. So anyhow, it did stop me out because I was initially here, and actually I should have, being fear of missing out, FOMO, that would have been the actual true stop, should have been up here. Okay, and maybe so many points off that too as well, give it a little bit more room. So that should have been my real play, but I got stopped out myself, and this was also my drawing expectation of what was going to take place. Okay, and when I got stopped out, I just let the video, let everything continue over the days, and we're now here. Okay, so this is how we're looking on the 1 hourly chart, and where are we going to go from here? CL. We got a lot of good buy, a lot of good strong push, but that's deception as well. I wouldn't be surprised of a lot of things, but we'll get into that here hopefully soon. I'm not going to try to make this a long video, but this is a study for me in my practice. And so streaming will boost moving going to this holiday season. We have Netflix analysts downgrade stocks, say streaming services lack operating leverage. So Netflix analysts downgrades the Netflix stocks. Now Netflix is stock, not particularly Disney, and I don't have any. So then we have Disney is giving us a baby yoga toys for Christmas. This wealth manager picked a home run stock in 2019. Here's what he likes for 2020. Roku stock is a bull stock back. Is the bull stock back on Roku? We could look in Roku and get a better assumption. It's time to buy the dip is what they're asking or stating. We think well, think different. Get ready for the partner of your life. Think well, think different. Get part of your life with brands. Disney shares new Star Wars ride details on eve of the debut. So the theme park spills the beans on the latest attractions slated on December the 5th for the Orlando and the California, January 17th for California. So we have share prices is up 61%. Shareholders are holding on. Okay, and that is what we expect to as well, to hold on. If that's what everybody's looking at, what's going on and what we may look into, but where do you want to hold on to, and how long do you want, if you want to get in outright? Yeah. So you have a lot of options, because holding on, considering, is it going down right now? And are we holding on because, yes, we do look at it as a pullback, but how far? And some want to get in, some want to get out and buy it and get back in at a better price. So different strategies. Why chase Disney momentum when Comcast so cheap? Why chase Disney's momentum when Comcast is so cheap? Why chase Disney's momentum when Comcast is so cheap? And Comcast is definitely so cheap. That may be a very good question. And that's one of the ones I wanted to pull up, was Comcast. And as Comcast, the time that around the 25th, 27th of Comcast, actually Comcast gave us a spike up around the Disney prices, 26th and the 27th. It also moved to the upside, but after that, November 29th and the 2nd and the 3rd, we are here pulling back and we're testing the lows. So Comcast is still showing weakness, although that doesn't mean that it's not going to get to the back to the upside here anytime soon. It is below something more important line for myself. So where are we truly at with that? Okay, so Comcast, and the question of that is a good question. Why would you? So that's, if that's one of somebody's investments. Okay, got many reasons why people and where people want to see what's going on with Disney and myself. So even at 160, are we looking for an up? Are we looking for this to be considered a small pullback? Well, we have hit the target mark initially for an expectation of a pullback, and I'm still hoping that we show true signs of approaching this 150 mark, this up move that I'm seeing at this point. Do we get over 149? And of course, now do we get over one? Let's see here. Let's go messing around. Big gap back. Big gap pull back. Sellers are up there. Now, the pullback, we do have down pullback volume. Luckily, a lot of it overall was strong, and a lot of buyers are not in play right now. A lot of the big boy buyers are not in play. And when would they look to come back into play to make sure they hold a position? It's a strong possibility right now. Right now, we are looking to push this back to the upside, although we had this big gap back into the body here. And so we still have strong, I still suspect this here, like I say, this is my target, and I typically have a target. We are getting a response from that target. Okay, so how much of a response, how much of a pull up? Okay, so that's another question. We're going to let it probably go sideways for a moment. Now, if we were playing this to the upside currently, then yes, then that would be my actual go, and this would be more of my support. Let me see here. Let me make sure on that. So that's my real deal there, period. Now, will that hold? I don't have the money to push that on up. Okay, so Is that the true hold? It's actually may get here and come on back down. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and make some drawings in this puppy. We know we like to draw, but first let's get this out the way. All right, that's good. That's good. We good. We're good. We're gonna leave all this on the table. Okay, so are we getting here? Or are we getting here? Either way, if we decide to do this, then that's not good. Obviously, that's more to that. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. If that continues to not get above that, if it now, I'm gonna have to take that off. Well, let's see. But if we do go above and do the same thing, just a little bit more above the 150 to the 153. No, damn all that. It's right here. Actually, we're just above it. It's strong. Period. It's strong. It's a strong move. Now it's a strong move. I don't see it. I'm trying to go back here. I don't see it playing out to be. All right, so we're on a weekly. So at the 139 do we get back into the 139 support, or do we stay above this 147? That's the question. Okay, so right now, this 150 things is not getting above that truly yet. Okay, so it stuck its head out, and I expect it to give us continuing support and push on up, and hopefully around this 147. So it goes sideways and mess around and then gets on up after 147. But if we do see a break, a threat below that going into this 146 and 145, then and it holds below that, and it happens to hold here in that area, then I'll see it touching back here before we go back up. Okay. All right. So again, I hope that helps. Again, also a lot of things is the volume. The buyers here on the weekly have dropped off tremendously. The buyers are still in play, and there are actually still a lot of buyers pushing this market, and that tells me about another major drop off here. So although this down movement came in strong to the eyeball test, it came in strong, but the contracts that played a part of it was not there. Okay, so the buyers and the sellers are not there also. That's a good thing. The buyers have calmed down, but the sellers also are not in play. The price liquidity is come in. They are actually looking for more supply. They're getting rid of some of the supply, and again, we still have hard demand for this here. Okay, so this should be a pretty much small sideways motion, I'm assuming, but we'll re-adjourn and see how this works out. But currently, right now, the question still holds: when are we gonna get above 150? Is 150 gonna be an issue for us? And right now, a week later, it is, because it did not hold as it approached 153, and it did not hold, so that's irrelevant. All right. Thank you again for your patience and your time. Appreciate it. And again, this is for practice purposes only. No professional advice given. Thank you.